Right, today we are making school cake. So we are making it from the website. What are we? We are on bakingwithgranny.co.uk. So this website says the original school cake, a simple sponge cake topped with a thick layer of white icing and a generous amount of rainbow sprinkles, best served with custard, pink or otherwise. So it says it's a 20-minute prep time, 40-minute cook time, British, baked with granny. This is what we need. So we need 280 grams of margarine at room temperature. We are using stock, simple, easy to get. You can buy bigger packs if you want. Caster sugar, we've just got normal caster sugar there. Eggs, free range, fresh eggs, you need 5 of those. Self-raising flour, I'm just using mine from Aldi, I think it is. And then icing sugar, boiling water and sprinkles to decorate later. So first off, preheat your oven to 180 degrees. And then obviously 160 for fan assisted, gas mark 4 or 350 Fahrenheit. And get a 9 by 12-ish inch baking tray. Mine is this one. I'm pretty sure I got this from Home Bargains, I think. But I will make sure next time I see where it's from that I let you know exactly. And obviously grease-proof paper. So with my grease-proof paper, I scrunch it up as so, because when you then come to put it in your baking tray as such, it just seems to go in a lot easier than if it was just straight. I'm still trying to figure out the best way to record these videos and everything, so please bear with me whilst we get a way of going and doing this, because I'm brand new to all of this type of stuff, but I wanted to do it, so here we are. So once that's all done, just put it to your side, keep it out the way. Turn the oven on again, so we said 180, so about there on my oven, because my oven can sometimes be a little bit dodgy, but hey ho. Right, so we've got our scales. I am going to try and do this all by hand, no mixer, because I want to try and show that you don't need to have a mixer and all of that to do most of these recipes that I am doing. I am also obviously trying to show that kids can help. Now, it's obviously back to school this week, which is why we are on school cake. So my son is in school, so it's just me. I apologise. Hopefully I'm just as good. So let's get started. So to start off, in a large bowl, cream together the margarine and sugar until light and fluffy. So we're going to measure up here. So we need margarine, 280 grams. So I'm going to use this to do it because I don't have a wooden spoon, you know, randomly. So I'm just going to use that to get my butter out. This has been out the fridge, but it has gone cold. Our lovely British summer has clearly ended. So what we on? 160 then. And we need 280, so let's see. 235. Really? I'll probably have too much. Yep, 297 now. Right, so in the bowl is 278. I do, however, have a little bit still stuck, so we will say that that is 280. So put my lid back on that one, pop that to the side, and next up we need 280 grams of caster sugar. So back to 0. Let me get a spoon somewhere. I'll use it. So I am obviously doing this with grams. You can usually quite easily change it to cups and stuff. So I do have both, but I just find it easier in grams. So what are we on? $2.80 exactly. Perfect. So let's put our lid back on the sugar. And again, pop that out the way. Because we are done with it. Right, so we got to cream this together. So let me just adjust you a little tiny bit so that I'm not breathing all into you, because I probably have been, so I do apologise. Right, so we are creaming it. So to cream it, you basically just push it into each other, which is why it's usually better that your butter, marge, is clearly soft. And you just go in until it's creamed together and it's light and fluffy. Obviously with a mixer, you would just put this on with the beater. So, and you just get it to beat itself together. But we can do this on our own by hand. We don't need a big mixer. Don't need anything fancy. It's all easy enough to learn to bake on your own. Now, as you can see, that has come together quite easy because it was soft. So I will just give it a quick, just a little bit extra, just because we are doing it by hand. There we go. Mixed in. No chunks of butter. There's no chunks of sugar anywhere. I would say that we're pretty good. So what's the next step? Step 3. Add the eggs one at a time, ensuring each egg is mixed through before adding the next. So I might get my whisk again. It's only a little, but it should work. Just to see which is easier when it comes to the eggs, because it might mix in easier with the whisk. But we'll find out. I tell you what, I'm not a cake person. I like to bake. I'm not the biggest fan of, well, it's not that I don't like cake. I don't like buttercream and all of that type of stuff. But I will say, school cake is one of the cakes that I will happily eat because it's just a bit of icing. Right, eggs, crack them into something separate so that you know you've not got no shell or anything going into your mix. So just crack it into that. No shell, put one in. We'll crack the next one ready. Again, make sure there's no shell. But we'll start off, I always crack my yolk first. And then just give it a good, thick, big mix. And as you can see, that mixed in quite easy. So then we throw in the next one. But then get ready for number 3, Make sure you're keeping track of how many you've used, because you don't want to use too many or not enough. So that's number 3 in there, ready once this is all mixed in. And then we mix that egg in. Perfect. You can already see it starting to come more like a cake mix, isn't it? So number 3 going in. Crack number 4 into our cup to make sure we don't get no shell. Also, obviously you crack it in just in case any of your eggs have gone bad, because you don't want to crack it all into your mix and it be a bad egg, because then you basically have to throw all your mix away and start again. And eggs are expensive, so we don't want to be doing that. So's butter. Well, everything's expensive these days, isn't it? So that one was all mixed in, as you can see. So we put number 4 in, and then we crack number 5 into our cup. That one's all right. Again, as you can see, mix number 4 in. Like a little arm workout this, isn't it? Right, and then number 5, in we go. Get rid of your cup because you don't need it. Give that egg a mix in. Make sure it's all mixed in nicely through it all. Where are we at? And ready for the next stage. So the next step is to sieve the flour and gently fold. Right. So that is all mixed in. As you can see, there's no egg around. Can't see any bits of yolk not mixed in or anything. So I'm going to go with that mixed in. So I would then just shake it off. And then you want this back. But we need our sieve. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, in my cupboard. So, get the sieve out. Make sure it's clean. Okay, so put your sieve on first before you turn it on, and then your sieve, it goes to 0 with obviously the sieve on. There we go. And then we want 280 grams of flour. So get my cup back. That's 120-ish. Hopefully I've got enough in my bag. Need to pop self-raising flour on my shopping list. Now that's too much. But because it's in the sieve, you can just get it out. There we go, perfect. So I need to make sure I buy some self-raising flour next time. Right, so all you're going to do is obviously sieve that in. Super easy. If you've only got a small bowl or you've only got a smaller sieve, you can obviously do it in sections. Now, I suggest if you do need to do it in sections, the best thing to do is, for that, I would do 100, 180, because then you always know where you're at. Right, so fold it in. Let's move the scales. So all you do to fold it in is bring it on top of itself. Scoop it under, on top of itself. Under, on top. Mix like that. Turn your bowl as you do it. But you're doing this so that you don't mix it too much, because if you mix it too much, you'll end up with not a very cakey cake. And you literally folding it like this until there's no chunks of flour left. I mean, you can be a little bit aggressive, you just don't want to be super aggressive. And then just make sure you've got it all off the bottom. There's a bit there. Are we done? I think we're done. Okay, so what's the next one? Transfer the batter to your pre-lined baking tray. Ta-da! That there was just from the whisk, so it is part of the batter, don't worry. And bake in your preheated oven for 30 to 40 minutes until risen, golden, and a skewer inserted comes out clean. Okay, so all you need to do is scoop that into there. The one thing I like so much about this spatula that I have is it gets everything off. There's nothing, you can literally scrape the whole bowl and leave nothing behind because of it. Okay, and then just obviously push it to the edges as even as you can. There we go. Scrape that on there. So I just scrape the last little bit onto the bowl and then dunk it on. Boop. There we go. So like I said, that goes in for 30 to 40 minutes. I will timer to 30 and check it. You do not want to open your oven before that, because that is when your cake will sink. So what I'll do is I will see how long mine takes, and when I come back with getting it out and everything, I'll let you know how long it takes. Thank you. Okay, so the whole point in this page is to be truthful. Now, unfortunately, I did mention something about my oven. This cake had been in my oven for 10 minutes, and I thought, something doesn't smell quite right there. And this is what came out after 10 minutes. Uh-oh. So I'm just going to quickly remake the mix and redo it. So I'll let you know what that one comes out with. The mix is going to be made exactly how it was in the first place, in a bowl, by hand. I just need to go buy some more eggs. So I will get that mix done, get it in, and fingers crossed my oven works this time, and I'll go from there with it. So here you go. Doesn't always go right. So I'm just going to quickly redo this. So I will zoom through this. So I'll pause it, get the bit done, show you me doing the next bit, just so that it's not as long a video. Okay. So that is all creamed together. So now we're going to do the quickly 5 eggs separately. So I'll just do me putting them in, and then I'll be back once I have done that. So there's the first one going in. Egg number 2. Egg number 3. 4. And Let's do number 5 now. So it's ready. Number 5 ready to go. Mix this one in. And last but not least, number 5. There we go. That's all our eggs in. So now we've just got the flour left. So I'll get my sieve and get that done, and then I'll be back. So the difference is for this batch is I'm using Co-op, not Aldi it was before, wasn't it? So there is only one slight difference. And it's just the brand of flour, which won't make too much difference. There we go, there's our 280 of the flour, so I'll get that folded in. And then we are back to where we were before it burnt. Hopefully this time it doesn't. I have this time put my oven a bit lower just to be safe. So it might just be that mine takes a little bit longer to cook than it's supposed to. But as long as it doesn't burn, we're on to a winner, because nobody wants a burnt school cake, do they? But bless my mum, she was like, I'll eat it. But once I realised how burnt it was, on the first 10 minutes, I just took it out. So it wasn't actually cooked in the middle at all. So I wasn't going to let my mum eat that, was I? But these things happen. You live and you learn. Accidents happen. I am going to invest in a in-oven thermometer, I think, because I think that's going to be the best option for me going forward, to know that my oven is on the temperature it's supposed to, so that that doesn't happen again. Normally I do put my temperature down. I just didn't think about it yesterday, so I didn't. But that's on me, nobody else. Just get my parchment paper so I can do my tin. So same thing, crunch it up. Move that out the way. Move my empty egg box, because I've got my eggs in my egg basket now. Look at my little chicken egg basket. I've had that for years. My mum and dad had one, and I was obsessed with it. So I had to get one for myself. Oh, knocked you over then. Right, so again, just get this to your edges so that you're covered. Get your mix in. And this time, fingers crossed, and we'll pray for the best. I've done everything I can think of to make sure. So I've literally turned my oven down. I have moved my tray to the very bottom of my oven, so it's not in the middle. Because again, I only have one oven tray. Shelf, not tray. The shelf, I mean. So we'll... hopefully these little things that I have done make a difference and we don't end up with a second failed attempt, because if we do, that means this is the end of the video, because I'm not doing it a third time. I'm not that made of money. These ingredients are expensive. Right, so I'm just going to scrape that on the edge of my bowl again, just to get it into a nice little clump. Just throw it on. Last little bit. There we go. And then we're going to pop it in the oven. So hopefully when we come back, we have a nice cooked school cake and not black. Okay, we managed it. No burning, nothing. So I'm going to just get it out of the oven now, so it comes out nice and golden brown. Look at that. Looks much better than the one that came out black yesterday or before. I say yesterday because this is the day after. Because I needed to go to the shop and I needed to buy eggs and some more flour. So I didn't get a chance to do it yesterday. But there we go, much better. So what we need to do is we need to let that cool down. And then we can make our icing, and I've got my sprinkles ready. So I will let this all cool down, and once it's all cooled, I will do the icing and the sprinkles, and we'll cut it up and see what we can get it to look like. So yeah, let it cool and then come back to the video. Okay, so it's nice and cool now, so we can do that. So I am going to get a big bowl. And then I need my icing sugar, which that one is open. So let's go with that one for now and hope there's enough in it. So it says 350 grams of icing sugar with boiling water. So my kettle has just boiled. So it says once your cake has completely cooled, in a bowl, mix the icing sugar with a few teaspoons of boiling water, adding a little water at a time until you have a thick pouring consistency. Pour icing onto your cake using a spoon to guide it to the edges. Finish with some sprinkles. So let's get 350 grams of icing sugar in our bowl, which I might need to open my next packet, but we'll see. Oh yeah, definitely need to open my another packet, but that's fine. I have got one of them, luckily. So we need like another 100 grams, don't we? Yeah. A little bit over, but it's icing sugar, so it doesn't matter. Right, so there's my boiling water. Let me find myself a big spoon. Right, so now my kettle is a cheap and cheerful kettle, so I do have to push my lid in for it to come out. So I'm just going to put a little amount in, because like we said, with icing sugar, if you make it too runny, you can just add more icing sugar in. Break that big chunk up, give it a stir. So you're just going to add little bits of water at a time until you're at a point where your icing sugar will nicely pour over. So I did put a lot more in there, but we have got a lot of icing sugar, so it's got to be pourable, but not to the point that it just leaks everywhere on you. So that's a little bit too thick still. So we'll put some more water in. Break our chunks up. Not too much, remember. I probably also didn't use the best spoon for this, but oh well. Okay. You can sieve your icing sugar, which is usually probably a bit better to do, but it's fine. We're using boiling water, so it'll melt away. So that is a good consistency, I would say, but I think I'm going to be naughty in a minute, and maybe, I don't know, I just don't think that's going to be enough, in my opinion. But then, in my head, school cake has a thick layer of icing, so maybe I'm just too much. Obviously, school cake does have a lot of sugar. I think maybe if I put a tiny bit more water in, I'll probably make it too runny now. And then I'll spread it on and we'll see if we think we need some more. Right, so that to me is a good consistency. Look at that drop. Ooh, yeah. Nice. So we're going to tip that onto our cake. Oh, I've knocked you again. Like I said, still learning. I'm just going to pull these little edges just to take it away. I am going to do it whilst it's still in the pan and paper though, just because it makes it that little bit easier to keep it in a space. Right, so we're going to yeah, looks good this. Maybe we don't need any more. Maybe that's just me being a big fatty. Okay, I'm just going to scrape what we've got in the bowl out. Now normally you'd have washed your pots and you'd have your little silicone spatulas back ready to use, but I'm doing this in between doing lots of other things, so I've not had the opportunity to do that just yet. So, but we got pretty much all of it out, so we're going to spread it to the edges. And then down. So you want to get it covering all of that cake. Keep going. And then to this corner. Get that bit all done. Just give that a bit of a... There we go. And get that edging done around there. Does look good though, doesn't it? I feel like actually I was wrong. Probably is them a perfect amount of icing. Then what you need to do is sprinkles. Oh look, that's a different kind of top. Let's see how this sprinkle. Oh yeah. Now it's school cake, so school cake is known for its sprinkles, so just load it up. I'd say I probably used about half the bottle of them, so not too bad. Now we just need that to set, and once it's set we can then chop it up into pieces. Now what I'm going to do with mine is, I know that my son's going to want a piece, so there will be a piece for him. My mum and dad also, so that'll be whatever I get out of this end. The rest of it I am going to chop up, and I am going to take it round to... I live across the road from a funeral home, so I'm going to go take it to the staff at the funeral home today, because I feel like people that work in funeral homes, I mean, I've always wanted to work in a funeral home, so that probably helps. But people that work in funeral homes, I feel like they do get forgotten about quite a lot. Like, we celebrate nurses and doctors and police and fire and everyone, all those sort of people, which, yes, we need to celebrate them. They do an amazing job. They are literally people we need in our lives. But funeral directors and people that work in funeral homes, I believe, are just as important, because they are the people that look after us and our loved ones when we have passed over. And that is important, making sure the last moments people have are just exactly what they want. So I'm going to go take them today. So I'll let you know what it looks like when it's cut up. Okay, so it has been setting for a while. Might not be fully set, but I'm just going to cut a little bit so that we can see. So let's get it out that pan. See what it's like inside. I mean, look at that. So just pull it around. Got myself a big knife. So, there, there maybe, there. Yeah, let's go with that. So I'm just going to cut, I'll just turn you a little bit more. I'm just going to cut this end, because then I can do cut a little bit off in this corner for Theo. So we're going to see what it looks like. There you go. There is the edge piece of school cake. Apart from the obvious where the cake burnt, I think this is a very easy recipe to follow. It's obviously super easy to be able to do by hand. I'm just doing that little tiny piece there because I'll eat that. My mum and dad can have them ones. And then, like I say, I'm going to cut that one up and take some over to the funeral home. Anyway, yes, so I would say that you would be able to do quite well. Easy enough to follow. So just some quick notes. It says storage: store your old school cake in an airtight container at room temperature. It'll keep well for up to 4 days. You can freeze the sponge before adding the icing and sprinkles. Wrap it tightly in cling film and foil and freeze for up to 3 months. Defrost at room temperature, then finish with your jam and coconut before serving. And for full school dinner nostalgia, serve with a drizzle of custard, pink or otherwise. So yeah, I would definitely say this one gets good stars for me. It's easy enough to follow, easy enough to decorate. Simple. Thank you.